Terence Crawford. Avanesyan knockout puts me on track for a dream fight. Errol Spence Jr. Alright, y'all. It's your boy Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. So, Terence Bud Crawford scores the big 6-round knockout of David Avanesyan that surprised nobody. Absolutely nobody in the boxing world was surprised about the outcome of that fight. But Terence Crawford feels like that fight puts him on track for his dream fight, the biggest fight of his career, and everybody knows that that is his rival, Errol Spence Jr., and that's a fight not only that the welterweight fans and Terence Crawford fans and Errol Spence fans want, but the entire boxing world is extremely interested in this fight. You know, the one thing I will say might benefit this fight is extra time. As long as it actually happens, the build-up to something huge always benefits the end product, or always benefits the event, because with a bigger build-up, you always have more eyeballs and more people involved within the event. So marinating something only helps. You know, Maypac might not have been as big if it happened exactly when it was supposed to happen. But since it happened, you know, kind of randomly, and after years of people anticipating, after years of people talking about it, it built the event up to superstardom status and became the biggest boxing event in history. So I can agree that a build-up to this fight, you know, a longer build-up could only benefit it. My question is, will the fight actually happen? Now, Bud had a lot of things to say after he beat Avanesyan. One of those things was not him calling out Errol Spence Jr. directly. He did kind of sideline call out Errol Spence Jr. by saying that he hopes those big fights do happen in the near future. What could he possibly mean by that? And what does he mean by the knockout gets him a step closer to that dream fight? You know, to be honest with you, man, nothing in the Terence Crawford-David Avanesyan fight really impressed me. Nothing made me go, wow, you know, this guy does this spectacularly. Or this guy, you know, his right hand is so vicious. You know, anybody he hits with it is going to go to the floor. You know, never in that fight did I say, you know, his talent level is a step above Errol Spence Jr. based off what I saw in the ring. Now, I know Terence Crawford fans will argue that, you know, you're only saying that because you're not a Crawford fan, and nothing that Crawford does would ever be high on your priority list or your list of high achievements, you know, for a fighter. And I disagree. I do feel like the competition level kind of degrades anything that he does in the ring, and it makes it look kind of average because you're in there with average competition. It's not really that I don't want to give him credit. It's that he makes himself seem like he doesn't deserve credit for defeating some of these fighters because of the timing of the fights. You know, a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of Crawford fans miss out on that specific point, that the timing of everything is crucial. You know, it would be one thing to beat the Chicago Bulls. It's another thing to beat the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan. Anybody can beat the Bulls without Michael Jordan, but can you beat the Chicago Bulls with a 93, a 94, a 95, a 96 Michael Jordan? That is the big difference. You know, anybody can beat, you know, 45 Jordan, you know. When Jordan came back with the 45, you know, he wasn't the same player. So for you to say, well, hey, I beat Michael Jordan, I beat the best player in the world, Michael Jordan, you know, in a game of basketball. And then you go, well, how old was he? And they say, well, he was 45 years old. Then you're like, you didn't beat Michael Jordan. You beat a version of Michael Jordan that doesn't even take the game seriously anymore. The competitive spirit is gone. And I feel that way about a lot of Bud's fights. When he fought Sean Porter's competitive spirit was gone. When he fought Kell Brook was physically too damaged to defend himself in the fight. Even though I think a version of Kell Brook a year earlier or 2 years earlier would have probably knocked Terence Crawford out. When he beat Amir Khan, you know, Amir Khan was not the fighter that Amir Khan used to be. And Amir Khan hasn't been the fighter he used to be in a long, long time. You know, Terence Crawford, I think, is the one boxer in the world that gets passes. You know, it's crazy because I think there's only been 2 fighters in history. There have been 2 fighters in history that get a pass in a boxing ring. And those fighters are Floyd Money Mayweather. He got a pass of ducking every good fight until they were perfectly timed out for him and everything was in his favor. So he was the king of cherry picking. And I think he got everything in his favor. You know, he got to use a lot of excuses when it came to making his fights and putting on fights. And the other one is Terence Crawford. You know, Terence Crawford not only gets excuses from the sports world when it comes to the competition level, or well, he's fighting Avanesyan because of this, or he's doing this because of that, or Bob Arum's a racist, so, you know, Terence Crawford had to do this. You know, he gets all the excuses in the world, but when it comes to a guy like Manny Pacquiao, a guy who's beaten so many champions, who's skipped through 8 different divisions, and, you know, who's putting on countless war-type fights, and who's entertained you at the highest level, and has accepted all competition, when this guy tears his rotator cuff and says, you know, I'm still willing to fight Mayweather, but can I get an exemption? People chew this guy up in the media and spit him out like he never won a fight in his life. Like his name is David Avanesyan. So, you know, I think it's crazy that certain fighters get to use these excuses, and other fighters who fight better competition, who've won so many championships and skipped through so many divisions, and, you know, who's been through so much in their career, get absolutely no excuses in the boxing ring. But yet the guys who don't challenge themselves, they get to use all the excuses in the world. And, you know, if Terence Crawford believed that this is his dream fight, you know, I don't blame him for trying to wait until the right moment for him, that he feels like, you know, this is the right time to take the fight. What I don't like is the lies that are being told on behalf of Terence Crawford, the lies that are being told on Errol Spence Jr., the rumors that are being spread like, you know, Errol Spence is the one holding things up. Terence Crawford got to just be honest. You know, man, if you wanted a tune-up, you wanted a tune-up. Just be honest about it. You know, fans will leave you alone for your honesty. If you felt like financially it wasn't the right time, well, ride with that. Because the problem I'm really having with Crawford is the fact that he can't stick to one excuse. Either it was a thing of they were pricing you out, you know, the time is not right. Either it was a thing of you needed a tune-up. It can't be all of those things. It has to be at least one. And it has to be one thing that you have to stick to. You can't tell this reporter that it was this and then this reporter that it was this, you know, because it makes you seem extremely cowardly. Now, will the dream fight actually happen? You know, Regis Prograis recently said he don't think that it's going to happen. Or Prograis. He doesn't think it's going to happen, and I have to totally agree. At least for 2023. With all the stuff on Errol Spence's plate, I don't see the possibility of the fight happening in 2023. I think Terence Crawford stalled too long, and the time has passed. Now, that could have been his game plan the whole time, is let me stall this thing out, and eventually he's going to run into all those mandatories, and I won't have to fight him at all anyway. And, you know, it could end up better for Terence Crawford if he never fights Errol Spence. You know, he could possibly get a Pacquiao fight, get a huge payday off of that. He just got $10 million. He might get 15 or 20 if he takes a Pacquiao fight. You know, timing is everything. And I think Terence Crawford, although you might not like his tactics, he does do what benefits him. He does ultimately want to end his career on his own terms. He loves being his own boss. And I do feel like that eventually we might not get the Errol Spence fight, but I do think Terence Crawford will definitely take on more competition. Might not be the best competition, but you're going to see Terence Crawford more than likely finish out his career here within the next year to year and a half. And we really might not get the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. We are Manny. They ain't fucking with me. They ain't fucking
man. Everything I do dope, everything I do clean. You say I ain't TKOB, what the fuck you mean? I come through clean, new debit card in my blue jeans. You been a good girl, you can find out what cruise mean. Find out what new shoes mean. I rock Lacoste with no shoestrings. V-color on my mood ring, it's 24 carats, I wanna see Paris. Before the end of the fiscal year. You wanna get fiscal, dear? Come put your lips right here. I'm fly here, then alert. Check, I'm a cool cat, matter of fact, I'm perfect. Police are perplexed, I'm cool, I never get nervous. I think I'm the shit now. My chick got locked up for the next 6 months, we been OG, OG, OG. They ain't fucking with me. They ain't fucking with me.